I'm just curious, preacher. You know, you when you say what you say, I mean, tell me where this coming from. Because I mean, I'm listening to you now, and I know there are young people who are hearing what you're saying. This is what needs to be addressed in our churches. This is what those preachers, some preachers are scared to allow to come into some churches. That's why we have that percentage you was talking about. That's why we have those issues, and why our young people don't turn to the church for answers. You understand? Absolutely. That's why they don't do that. And for some of you that are listening, I mean, I want you to hear this man of God, because it's coming from a man of God who is not afraid to say certain things. And I know that, and I'm listening to you, man. You know, some of that I hear coming from you. I mean, you must have went through some of that too.
Absolutely. I'm the product of divorce, and I'm also a participant in divorce. So I grew up, was affected by divorce, and then I am divorced. I'm grateful and thankful to God for second chances and all of that. I'm grateful that you know, my kid's mom and I are best of friends. We have co-parented our children even to this day. We still make decisions as a family and all of those kinds of things. And so I look back now, what I told God is that I'm going to do everything I can to stop people from getting where I got to.
Oh, wow.
And so, and my issue is preventive. If I can get you to manage your life correctly in the dating process and in the early marriage process. One of the mistakes I made, and I normally don't get into this publicly outside of my church, but one of the mistakes that I made was that I didn't get help fast enough.
Wow.
See, in the urban church, we are too busy being who we are.
Talk, preacher. Talk, preacher.
So I was in a situation where, you know, I'm the great Pastor Derek Triplett. I can't let people, I can't go get counseling. I can't let it seek out that I'm having marital trouble. And we don't go get help. We don't go get help. Our pride keeps us from getting help, and then we end up taking our families and our ministries through drama and trauma because we didn't go get the help. So the passion that you hear is me just making sure that I'm doing everything that I can to try to get people not to go down the road. The second road that I don't want kids to have to go down is when they are in two-parent homes with fake marriages.
Come on, preacher. Come on, preacher.
And so research says that does as much damage to the child's perspective of marriage as it does with a, if I can put it, this is an oxymoron, a healthy separation. Even though separation and divorce, I wouldn't wish divorce on my worst enemy. But the reality is, I believe that my children have been blessed and that they're healthy, they're well-rounded, and they know the real deal. So we can't raise, because you got to remember, those 17-year-olds you're talking about, they need authenticity, and they can spot a fake a mile away. They can spot it a mile away. So if I grow up in a fake marriage, in a fake house, and then I watch you all go to church and act like you love each other, and then I'm watching you at the crib and y'all can't stand each other, then I do away with the whole institution. But what I'm telling people, there's nothing wrong with marriage. We're the problem. You know, in that series I have a sermon called "There's Nothing Better Than Love." To singles, I have a series in there called "Choosy Lover." I know y'all sanctify him about that song, but there was a song back in the day by the Isley Brothers.
Yes, sir.
But I know.
Yes, sir.
I'm sorry.
Sir. Yes, sir.
I'm sorry. But
we know it. We might not say it, but we know it.
But my thought is, I tell singles that to the lady, you've got to decide who you're going to let yourself be chosen by.
My God.
To the man, you've got to decide what you want to choose. So once you choose what you really want, then you'll make the investment into it. Even if it means you got to work another 7 years to get the one that you really want. You've got to, and I tell sisters, if he's not really making the investment, he's really not choosing you. And so if you force him to choose you, then you're not going to get what you need. And so, you know, it's a whole issue of letting people understand. I'm just preaching prevention. Let's do this right.
So, is there a conference coming? Is there
a book or something?
Do you know how much we need to just kind of take the mask off and just like you said, and just be real about this, and start talking about it? So when
I did not come on this show to be convicted.
Okay. Yes, you did. Yes, you did.
The book should have been out a long time ago.
Yes, sir.
And we don't even know yet. This just been a setup.
I'm gonna write the book.
Please, so my kids can read it.
And have the conference, so the books will be available at the conference. You know, because people need to and I thank God my daughter is in here and listening to it, and we're all in here. Bishop, do you think, and I was supposed to give you some time, but I think we're going to talk this out. Okay. But do you think that or talk about a little bit of this, because you were a product of divorce from your mom and dad got divorced.
Yes.
Did that have anything to do with, you know, do you see this as something that's...
It's some people would like to say it's a generational curse, but it's not that simple.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
It does affect you, and I can only speak from my personal experience. One of the things that you end up doing when you're a product of divorce and you have the heart of God, you end up saying, I'm never going to do this to my kids.
That's right. That's right.
And then you watch certain things and you say, I'm not going to do that, I'm not going to do that, I'm not going to do that. Here's the challenge. It only develops one side of you.
Wow.
So you end up growing up knowing what you don't want.
Wow.
But you don't know what you do want. And the absence of the negative is not positive. The absence, if you take a number line, if you do away with what's on the negative numbers, -1, -2, -3, if you do away with that, you at zero.
Exactly.
You're not at positive numbers. So you're at zero.
Right.
So one of the things that it affected me was I knew what I didn't want, but I didn't take the time to discover and develop what I did want.
Wow.
And ultimately, I deal in my premarital sessions with my people, I share with them that marriage is signing up to meet somebody else's needs and expectations for the rest of your life. And the only way that can work is, one, the person that you're hooking up with actually knows their needs. See, I didn't know mine. And so if they're not known, they cannot be articulated. And if they're not articulated, they can't be agreed upon. So I share with people, know your needs, articulate your needs, and then see if your partner actually wants to meet them. Because if they're not wanting to do that, if that doesn't fit them, then no matter what else y'all got going on, ultimately you've got to live with these needs and expectations. And the beauty, and I love marriage, and the beauty and the blessing of marriage is if you signed up to meet somebody else's needs for the rest of your life, you never have to worry about you.
Wow.
Because they got you.
Wow. My dad, see, look, my mom and my dad, I mean, they stayed together, man, for till my dad died, so over 60 years. But that didn't work for me. I mean, because I did get divorced. You understand me? But, so my thing is, how do you know? I mean, because I'm quite sure when you got married, divorce was something you planned.
Right.
So is it a time, especially for young people like my daughter, like Asha? I mean, like, is it too young? When is it too young? And is it a moment where in your relationship with God you should be at before they even consider marrying?
I wouldn't. That's an excellent question. I would not put the age issue. I think people should know themselves. However long it takes you to know yourself, because if you don't know yourself, you don't know what you need to hook up with. The second thing that we would erase out of the church experience is this whole concept. The Lord told me you're my husband.
Oh wow!
The Lord told me
stop,
you're my wife.
Oh God!
You know, so,
Oh God!
All right, he didn't tell me. So, but anyway, that's a whole nother story.
That is. Yes, sir.
But what we do is we leave too much to God. We leave too much to God. Their marriage, you sign up, you dig in. I'm telling people now, find the person that you love, and hold on to them for dear life.
Beautiful.
Hold on, just find the person you love and hold on no matter what goes wrong, because you're going to have some issues.
Yes.
And I'll say this one thing, what will help you is this. Is this the person that you want to be with? If that's the person that you want to be with, let nothing trump that.
Wow. Okay.
So no matter how much you've been hurt, no matter how much anger, disappointment, at the end of the day, we gotta fix this because I want to be with you. You feeling me?
I see.
But when we marry for other reasons, you know, I tell people in our premarital sessions, how did we get here? But anyway, but I tell people in our sessions, you know, that if we want you to know that this is the person that God would have you to spend the rest of your life with. But you ought to also be so into that person that if God was saying something different, you'd be trying to change his mind.
Wow.
You understand? A metaphor. You can't just be into the image or the perspective. There are a lot of people who want to be married but don't want to be a husband or wife.
Say that again. Say it again, preacher.
You know, you want the concept and the benefits of being married, but you don't want to be a wife.
Come on, preacher.
Or you don't want to be a husband.
Come on, preacher.
How did we get here?
You know what?
That's the message I'm telling you.
Bishop, we got like 2 minutes. And your website, this is part 2 is coming. I don't know what to say. We go on and on and on.
I'm blown away.
And I did not realize that we had all this coming. But it's been awesome. And so many people, I've got so many friends. I've got a friend that's been waiting for a husband for so long. And I pray she's listening. If not, I'm going to have to, to put it on YouTube.
Yeah.
Okay. But we're going to have to do this because like I said, I got 2 more minutes left. Give us the church contact information.
Hope Fellowship Church, you can get us on the web at www.hopefellowship.org or www.derektriplett.org, 869 Derbyshire, 386-226-1122. On Twitter at HFCDB, and my Twitter is Derek Triplett, DEREKTRIPLETT.
Can I actually?
And where are you going to be ministering?
I will be ministering tomorrow.
Y'all go find him to ask him the rest of those questions you got.
10 o'clock. I'll be ministering tomorrow over here at 10 o'clock at, let me try to...
What's the name of the pastor?
It is at the Christian Family Worship Center, Pastor Jerry Perry's. They're on the campus of UCF at the Commons Auditorium building in parking lot B9. And actually, crazy thing is, Pastor Perry's got me coming to preach a women's service.
You know what? I said pre-black man preach. I tell you, this has been awesome, Bishop.
Incredible.
What a blessing it is to meet you. I feel like we can go on and on. And so we're going to schedule some time for part 2 of this session. Because I believe we may have to do an open up phone line. So I'm kind of interested to hear what people are thinking and what they're saying. But Bishop, thank you so much for coming on. And I tell you, I'm so proud to know you. So proud of your ministry. And people of God, this is our time. As we always say, look up and live. Be encouraged in your spirit. And we need you to know today that God is on your side.